Okay, so here's another question from your homework. So it's question number 4. Suppose a number is increased by 6, then the result is divided by 3. Now suppose the same original number is doubled, then increase it by 4, then divide by 2. The first calculation is 18 more than the second. What is the number? So when I'm doing a question like this, the first thing I look at is what is the final question? And the final question is, what is the number? And so that's the thing I'm trying to find. That's what I'm going to let my variable be. So let x be the number. Now, I take a look at the other stuff that's in the problem and I try to make sense of that. So it says a number is increased by 6, then the result is divided by 3. And then it says the same original number is doubled, then increase it by 4, then divide by 2. And the last thing it says is the first calculation is 18 more than the second. Okay, so the first calculation is 18 more than the second, which means if I take the second calculation and I add 18 to it, that should equal the first calculation. Now the first calculation is that the number is increased by 6, so this number x gets increased by 6. So x gets increased by 6, so that's adding 6 to it. And then the result is divided by 3, so we take that answer and divide it by 3. The second calculation is that the same number is doubled, so x gets doubled. Then it's increased by 4, so then we add 4, and then we divide that answer by 2. And then add 18 to that. And so here we have an equation that we can solve. Now if you remember, equations that have fractions in them, we usually try to find a common denominator. And so there's a couple of ways you can go about doing this one. You can see here, I'm going to circle this part here. You can see here that both of the numbers in this numerator are divisible by that denominator. I didn't really notice that the first time I tried this question, so I'm going to answer this question as if I didn't notice that. So pretend like we didn't notice that. But you could take this whole thing right here, and you could divide the 2x by 2 and get just x, and then divide the 4 by 2 and get just 2, and that would simplify the problem. But I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is pretend like I didn't even see that, and I'm going to solve this like it's a problem with 2 fractions in it. So before, when we were learning this, what we did was we made a common denominator. So the common denominator between 3 and 2 is going to be 6. So that's got to be a 6, that's got to be a 6, and this 18 also has to turn into a denominator of 6. Now remember, the number 18 is really 18 over 1, so it's the 1 that needs to be multiplied by 6 to get to 6. And if we're going to multiply the 1 by 6, then the 18 needs to be multiplied by 6 as well. So we've got 6 times 18 here. And then the 2 needs to be multiplied by 3. So all of this here, all of that there, needs to be multiplied by 3. So 2x plus 4. And then the 3 needs to be multiplied by 2. So all of this here needs to be multiplied by 2. So that gives us 2 times x plus 6 here. We got the rest of it already written down. Now once you've got everything over the same denominator, you can drop the denominator, because basically what you're doing is you're multiplying every one of these parts. Every part, you're multiplying this part by 6, you're multiplying that part by 6, and you're multiplying that part by 6. And when that happens, that 6, this 6, will cancel out all of the other 6's because I'm multiplying each of them. I'm multiplying this by 6, so there, that's canceled. I'm multiplying this one by 6, so that's canceled, and I'm multiplying this one by 6, so that's canceled. Okay, so now let's just keep going. Simplified, that gives us 2 times x plus 6 equals 3 times 2x plus 4 plus 6 times 18, which is 108. And expanding, notice when I multiplied this x plus 6 times 2, I put brackets around it. You have to put brackets around it to show that you're multiplying the whole thing by 2, not just the x. So that's 2x plus 12 equals 6x plus 12 plus 108. Get all your x's on the left, so the 6x needs to go over here. That becomes a minus 6x. And then we got 12 plus 108 still on the right, but the 12 needs to go over there, so that's a minus 12. 2x minus 6x is minus 4x. We got a 12 and a minus 12, so they're gone, and that leaves us a 108. Divide both sides by negative 4, and you get x is negative 27. So we found the answer, because we were only asked to find out what this number was, so therefore the number is negative 27. And we're done. Hope that helps.